Okay, so Myron,
Yo.
I wasn't expecting to see you in person so soon after the virtual interview, but it's good to have you here in Tampa. I had no idea that Turning Point USA was taking place in Tampa.
It's in Tampa Bay. The Turning Point USA Student Action Summit is being held at the Tampa Convention Center this weekend, and it features some big-name speakers, including Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Donald Trump Jr., and Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, I made a last-second decision to come, so that's why I was like, oh shit, and then I was talking with Hassan,
Shibli, he's the one who told me you were in town.
So and he was like, hey, hit Ahmed up here, in Tampa. I was like, oh yeah, I forgot that he films there.
Yeah.
So that's when I hit you up, I was I think I was on the way, I already landed.
So this area, as you can tell, is all Middle Eastern.
This suburb. So right as soon as I walked out, I was like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, this suburb is Temple Terrace. I think 30-40% of the population, it's only 35,000, but about 35-40% are Arabs. So a lot of Palestinians are moving here. One of the oldest mosques ever established in the city. The second one actually is right over here.
Okay.
It's a big Islamic school here. So this is a very Arab Muslim community.
Okay.
And this cafe we're in is 1948, and this is obviously founded to raise awareness about,
of course,
the Nakba and the establishment of the state of Israel and all this bullshit that has ensued ever since. So I like to come out here sometimes and just do our interviews. So we had Scott Ritter here before, and now we have you. So it's a privilege to have you. Yeah, so were you there when Tucker Carlson gave his speech?
People feel like they can't just say, what the hell is this? You have the former Israeli prime minister living in your house. You have had all this contact with the foreign government. Were you working on behalf of Mossad? Were you running a blackmail operation on behalf of foreign government?
No, I wasn't, man, because I didn't know he was going to speak. But what ended up happening was I didn't sleep the night before to catch the flight. So I caught the flight, went, I knocked out an interview, and then I was so dead. I left at 7:30. As soon as I got back to the hotel, I fell asleep, but I forgot. I didn't know that Tucker was going to go. He didn't go till 8:30 or something like that.
Yeah.
So I completely missed it, but then I saw everyone on Twitter pissed off after.
Yeah. No, it was a great speech, man. He basically said, if you're an American citizen and you fight for the IDF, you should have your citizenship revoked. And what was interesting is, the whole crowd cheered for that. So what do you think Charlie Kirk is thinking at his own event?
Yeah, I mean, look, I've said this before, I'll say it again. The Great Awakening is here. People are finally starting to realize that we're occupied. There's been a significant amount of contributors, right? Your channel, me, Nick Fuentes, Scott Ritter, a lot of big voices, Suleiman Ahmed on Twitter. There's so many different, Candace Owens has been talking about this, Tucker Carlson. And it's good, man. It's good because for a very long time in the conservative space, especially in America, it's been cucked by Israel, right? Conservative media is dominated by Zionist control. So for people to finally come out and talk about this on the right is a big deal. So it's good. It's definitely good. But yeah, I know Charlie's in a weird spot because the people that fund TPUSA are hardcore Zionists, right? And obviously, he's very close with the Trump administration. They're very pro-Zionist.
He's a Zionist.
Yeah, he is too, exactly. He's an evangelical Christian. But a lot of his base are starting to kind of wake up. And a lot of his base, young men, they're leaning more towards Grapers, America first, fuck Israel.
Yeah.
He still has that boomer audience that still are fooled by the bullshit. But the young men are waking up. It's crazy how many guys are waking up to this stuff. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah, Charlie Kirk, especially in the lead up to Israel's attack on Iran, he kept posting out tweets and he would poll his audience.
Oh, so yeah.
He would try to
he was trying to get a temperature
Exactly.
reading. I was debating Destiny on this. I told him, I was like, dude, it was a monumental failure, us intervening.
You debated Destiny recently.
No, literally today.
Destiny?
Yeah.
He was at the conference.
Yeah, he was at the conference. I was debating him on this topic, and I told him my position was that the U.S. and Israel actually lost in this conflict against Iran for a multitude of different reasons.
What did he say?
He doesn't think so. He thinks that we pushed their nuclear program back and that was a W. But I was like, well, dude, okay, let's go with the White House estimate that they pushed it back a year or two. Doesn't matter. Now the resolve is even greater to get it. The country's behind it. You've made the Ayatollah stronger. Anyone that was critical of them before, now they're aligned. So you united the country. Yeah. So even if you did push it back a year or two, they're going to work even harder to get it now. That's assuming they don't have clandestine programs that we didn't know about, which I guarantee they had. I guarantee they had other facilities. They had the 3 nuclear facilities that everyone and their mom knew about. You don't think they would have some other ones that are completely classified, maybe even out of country? Come on.
Yeah, and it's kind of tricky because we don't know, like, if the CIA or Mossad are going to leak intelligence that would encourage Trump to go back in. So we don't know how to read it, but from what they're saying, they have no idea what the material is.
The thing is like half the base, including myself, because I do like Trump. I don't like what he's doing with Israel, of course. But we all were like, what the fuck? No new wars, man. Like, this is bullshit. So I'll tell you that his base rebelling definitely played a role, because if this was 2003, and I think we discussed this, like, they would have went to, they would have intervened way sooner, but, you know, thanks to social media and alternative media in general, people were like, you know, like, fuck no. So it made him definitely think twice, like, dude, am I going to do this? He obviously did it, but then as soon as he did it, he got the fuck out of there. Yeah. You know?
So I'm about to release a video in like 4 or 5 days. Yeah. It's like almost an hour long.
Okay.
It's one of the longest YouTube videos I've edited. And it's a full analysis.
You do the editing yourself?
I do it, yeah, everything from A to Z. Yeah, filming, scripting, researching, editing.
Good.
The most challenging thing is researching, because when I dive in, I go in saying, okay, I want to cover the Iran-Israel war. But then to do that, if I want to do the audience justice, I got to tell them about the negotiations. And then I got to tell them like how the F-35 can fly farther and longer on internal fuel, and how that relates into flying over Iran's airspace. So then the video becomes like 4 or 5 times as long.
No, that's great, dude, because you got to assume your audience is retarded. And then I'll take it a step further. Americans are even more retarded. So you have to explain it like in tidbits for them, because most Americans, dude, are completely unaware of foreign policy. Like, if you look at, and this is why, actually, this is a big reason why the Zionists have been able to do what they do. They're more concerned with, oh, trannies, oh, gays are trying to marry. They're more, oh, like crime, like, the thing is this. They talk about social issues to deflect from what's going on in the Middle East, and it's been going on for a very long time. So now that, like, the eyeballs are in, and people are starting to kind of figure out that our foreign policy is occupied, you have to like kind of give it to them like from the beginning, assuming they're completely retarded. Because, and just to give you an example of what I mean by this, the biggest political commentators on the right wing, all of them stay away from foreign policy until now. So since the base hasn't been giving it to them, this is the opportunity kind of coming. Like, I've been coming in and like red pilling people on foreign policy on this stuff, and people are mind blown, because for 20, 30 years, they've been listening to Fox News, they've been listening to, you know, Charlie Kirk or any of these guys before, where all of them have always historically stayed away from foreign policy for that reason. You know what I mean? Because if you talk about foreign policy, especially in the Middle East, you have to deal with the elephant in the room, and that elephant in the room is simply that Israel runs our foreign policy.
Yeah. Tucker Carlson actually did a good job, I think, in trying to like protest against this and resist it. And one of the things he was saying is that
this is going to get mad at him. They say he's not going hard enough. I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah, he's doing what he needs to. There's other people who can go harder than him.
And they're going to find they're going to find us through him.
Yeah.
Which is what matters. Like, he can't go all the way. Guy's establishment, you know, media, so he can't go all the way. That's fine. He's going to find me, Nick Fuentes, you, other people on Twitter, by even, because once you start going down that path, people become curious.
Right.
And then they realize that people have been lying to him. So I think he's doing a good job. Another thing too is like, you know, people are saying, oh, Carlson, whatever the fuck, trying to make jokes or whatever. But the reality is like, okay, like, you want to make that joke and say Qatar is paying him. Hey, they have to register under FARA. AIPAC doesn't.
Yeah.
These Zionist lobbies don't. So I think, and the people forget, he asked Netanyahu for an interview too. Netanyahu's not going to do the interview. I promise you, he's not.
Yeah.
Because he knows that, you know, he would have to answer the tough questions. Hey,
especially after Ted Cruz. There's no way.
Yeah. That's an L. Like, he's not going to do any adversarial interviews. He did one with the Nelk Boys though, which is comical.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that interview goes.
Tucker Carlson his biggest complaint was, look, obviously we have an issue with Zionism and Israel, but more than that, what he's most concerned with is Trump is not going to carry out the things he promised domestically, because he's so focused on foreign policy in Israel. And ever since he's come into office, all we've been talking about is Israel. Whether it's the genocide in Gaza, or this war with Iran, or any of the other things Netanyahu's asking for. He's visited the White House like 3 or 4 times since he got into office. And we're not even talking about Ukraine.
And there's always military action right after he visits. You know
right, exactly.
Yeah.
So Tucker's whole beef is Trump is not going to serve the American people, and that's playing out right in front of our eyes.
And they try to obfuscate and say, oh, Qatar is paying you to say that.
Yeah.
Bro, like, deal with the facts. Like, we have a world leader that's come here 3 times in 6 months.
Yeah.
What the hell? You know what I mean? Like, and it was if we actually won, that'd be one thing. Dude, we lost. It was a big L. why is it, if Israel's going to attack Iran probably sometime again this year, ceasefire is going to end. So it's like, it wasn't a W, because if it was, they wouldn't be attacking them again. Because they know that they united the country, they didn't destroy the regime, and now they're going to make a nuclear weapon even more so. And we fucked up by backing out the nuclear deal. Like, that nuclear deal was the best chance we had to kind of, ensure that they wouldn't get nuclear proliferation. But it's also comical because it's like, some fucking dumbass earlier was trying to say, oh, debate me on Israel, whatever. Bro, you're a fucking retard. The guy was like, he said something about Iran's nuclear weapons. And I was like, dude, Israel has an illegal nuclear program.
Yeah, they have
it's not illegal.
90 plus.
And I was like, no, it's fucking illegal because literally the reason why, and a lot of people don't know this, the reason why it's still unacknowledged to this day is because there's a law in the books. From back in 1978, Jimmy Carter, I think, signed it into law, where we cannot give foreign aid to any country that illegally procures uranium enrichment or any type of capability of nuclear capability. Israel did that, right? They that's a big reason why JFK got killed. So when they say this dumb shit, I'm like, bro, you clearly don't even know what you're talking about. Like, the reason why their nuclear program isn't acknowledged to this day is because of that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an excellent point. A lot of people are so fixated on trying to debate whether or not Iran has a bomb or whether or not they want to make one. And to your point, it's like we're completely ignoring the fact that Israel has 90 plus. And Iran has
illegally procured, and they stole the uranium from us to make their nuclear bombs. The bigger slap in the face.
And they tried helping South Africa get it as well.
Dude, it's absolutely incredible how the hypocrisy. And it's like, I look at it like, it's our fault they're trying to get a nuclear bomb. Really bad fucking foreign policy. Trump, with the pressure of the Zionist lobby, Mike Pompeo's dumbass, putting the IRGC on a terrorist watch list, sanctioning them to hell. What do you think is going to happen?
Yeah.
Of course they're going to go and say, we need to make a nuclear bomb because they're trying to destroy us.
Yeah.
But we could have had diplomacy with them. We could have done a deal. Make sure they don't get a nuclear weapon, have diplomacy, gotten oil at a better price. Who fucking knows? But since we wanted to go ahead and let the Israelis control our foreign policy, enormous amount of pressure, let's pull out this nuclear deal. Stupid.
Which is what I kind of suspect is their intention. They're trying to push Iran in the direction of becoming the threat they're projecting onto them.
Of course. We do the same with Russia. It's all to substantiate the military-industrial complex.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? In some places, they need an enemy to justify the mass weapons, right? And to sell, to buy, and run the military-industrial complex. We need an enemy. And that enemy they're going to always use is Russia, Iran. It was Iraq for a while, but now they're done. So
what did you make of Turning Point? I was there last year, but I went for the America First conference.
Okay.
So I went to go see Fuentes and them. Was Fuentes and them in town? Because I know he likes to attend and troll.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened. I didn't see him there, though.
Interesting.
I didn't see him.
Yeah, I was there last year, and I think they kicked Fuentes out, but the other Groypers
they always kick him out, dude. It's fucking, I don't know why. It's like, let the guy go. I don't know, man. I guess maybe he's a threat because he's influencing all the young guys. But yeah, there were a lot of Groypers there today.
Well, he'll also be a magnet because he's so popular. And I mean, they already don't like that Tucker Carlson's talking, and he's getting all this applause, right? Imagine Fuentes coming in; there'd be a gang around him.
And he's bigger than a lot of these other guys that they invite to talk. You know what I mean? The right wing is in a very pivotal place right now, and right now what they're competing for is the minds and hearts of the young men. And I think they've lost it, honestly, from the shilling for Israel, the lies, etc. It's like, dude. Stop lying to the people, especially now with alternative media. This isn't 2003 where you can sit there and say they hate us because of our freedoms. It's not gonna, that propaganda is not going to work anymore.
We talked about this during our last discussion, but they're taking the left and right wing and sort of merging their complaints together, which creates a sort of solidarity from people who otherwise hate each other and would never ever engage in dialogue or anything like that.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, on the left. They're protesting Israel from a humanitarian perspective. Hey, they're killing people, this is bad, etc., which is obviously a noble cause, right? And then on the right, it's more about nationalism. Why are our tax dollars going to drop bombs on babies? What the fuck is going on here? Why is our foreign policy being dictated by Israelis, right? And then if you go even further to the right than that, right, with, they might call them white nationalists or whatever, but they've been calling out Jewish control of America for a very long time, which is very true. right? It's a big fucking problem, right? And this is where they come in and call me a Nazi, but it's a very valid criticism. Why the fuck are they in positions of power across all spectrums of American culture? Whether it's big tech with Palantir or big tech with social media, Facebook, YouTube. At one point, almost all the big social media platforms were being run by Jews. Instagram, run by
Adam Mosseri is the guy.
Adam Mosseri, thank you. Yeah. Yes, Adam Mosseri was Instagram. All these guys are Zionist Jews. Yeah. How the fuck is it that all the biggest platforms are being run by them? Right? The head of Facebook right now that runs the moderation, Jordana Cutler, worked for Netanyahu. Yeah. So it's like, what the hell's going on here? And then you look at the financing and everything else.
Let's talk about Kash Patel and Epstein.
Yeah.
Who's his girlfriend?
Yeah, a chick that used to work for, what is it? PragerU.
PragerU,
who was run by former Unit 8200. So it's like, it's ridiculous. And then here's the thing. It used to be, you couldn't even, if you talked about this and noticed it, oh, that's anti-Semitic, whatever, but we need to have a real discussion here. How the fuck are they influencing, getting in all these positions of influence? And then you look at our foreign policy and then you connect the dots and say, whoa, like what's going on here? So on the right wing, like people might complain and say, oh, these white nationalists say that all this shit's anti-Semitic, but it's connecting a lot of dots, right? And then obviously if you're gonna be a nationalist, you're not gonna want a foreign government influencing your policy. So the right wing comes from that perspective, right? And then you got on the left wing, it's the humanitarian perspective. Everybody's noticing, right? When you got someone like me, right, who says women are stupid and need to be back in the kitchen, they shouldn't vote. And then you got someone like Hassan Piker, right, who's a, flaming libtard, but we actually agree on something, that should tell you something, right? Like people consider me far right, and then you take someone like Hassan who's far left, or Kyle Kulinski, how the fuck are we coming to the same conclusion on Israel? Right?
It's just expressed differently. They'll say Zionists, they'll say Israel, you guys will say the Jews.
I'll say
the majority of the Jews are Zionists. We're on the same page now. And it's even beyond that, John Mearsheimer. Like nobody can disrespect John Mearsheimer, nobody can call him an anti-Semite. John Mearsheimer is an expert. He wrote this book in 2005, 2006. He exposed the Israel lobby a long time ago. The other day he was talking to Judge Napolitano, one of the biggest podcasts online right now, who used to be on Fox News, Judge Napolitano. And Mearsheimer told him straight up, Israel controls our foreign policy. So there's no more debate. It's not a secret anymore.
Yeah, and now it's out there, right? So, and I'm glad that people are catching on. But for a very long time, dude, if you talked about this topic, it was one of the fastest ways to get banned. Right? I mean, I got demonetized off YouTube for this shit, right? Before October 7th. Now, it's safe to talk about it. But like, dude, people on the left wing weren't talking about Israel or Jewish power before, but it's good though because now they're allies. Because we've doubled the force. But before, it was really people on the fringe right that would talk about, Jewish control of America and the problem of Zionism. But before October 7th, unless you're a Palestinian, nobody knew what the fuck Zionism was in America. Nobody. Or you're an Arab. So
what's it like for your audience who came to you originally for, how would you describe it?
Dealing with bitches,
the manosphere, feminism.
What
was their reaction? I mean, you introduced them to Russia, Ukraine. You introduced them to geopolitics. You're talking about JFK and Jewish power.
A good amount of them were shocked, right? Like they're like, holy shit. But once you go down the rabbit hole, obviously they want to learn more. Obviously some people are also going to get mad and say, why are you going politics, whatever, because politics is very divisive. But I don't give a fuck. It's like, whatever. And then they get mad at me when I talk shit about black people. Whatever. I don't care. I'm critical of everybody, right? I talk shit about everybody. And, when it's safe. So my thing is, I think the truth is the most important thing. And saying what you got to say. So people respect that. So even if they don't agree, they'll still a lot of times, listen to what I got to say or whatever. But this topic for sure has, cost me millions of dollars. Got me shadow banned on YouTube. Got me demonetized on YouTube. But whatever.
So how do you make... You don't have to go into specifics. Your money is your business. Worries. But how are you managing your platform now and still doing what you're doing and making your money, being pushed to the fringe like this?
Yeah, so obviously we're on Rumble. I'm on Kick as well. We stream on, so I have two different, so I got Fresh and Fit, then I got my own political channel. So we're Fresh and Fit. We don't cover the politics as much. I cover more of that stuff on my channel now because obviously it's so controversial. But we're on Rumble, Kick, on my personal channel, Rumble, Kick. I still stream on YouTube, but I got my OSS, O/Squad. That's my community. So, and then I have real estate. So I knew with the topics I cover, at some point they were going to come after me. So I started investing in real estate early on. So I got 20-some properties. So, God forbid anything ever happen, I could still keep doing what I'm doing. So these fucking, well, you're going to have to bleep this out. These can't stop me. So, yeah. You're going to have to bleep out a lot of that, but it is what it is. I don't want to get you in trouble, but this is pre-recorded, so we're safe.
Yeah, we'll see.
You just go beep.
Yeah.
Because they'll ban you for that, bro. That term.
I've never had the word mentioned on the platform before.
First
time for everything.
Yeah, of course. So you got to call a spade sometimes, man. Because it's behavior, right? It's like what the fuck? It's like, this is another controversial take I have. Censorship is Jewish. If you look at how censorship works in America, the biggest lobbyists, ADL, SPLC, Media Matters, etc., it's all run by fucking Jews. And I'll tell you this, when I was talking shit about black people calling them, when I was talking shit about women saying that they're dumb, when I was talking shit about Indians saying that they stink, whatever, nobody gave a fuck. But as soon as I started talking about Jewish power and, the issues that arise from that, instantly I was in the fucking crosshairs and they came after me to demonetize me. On Twitter, they demonetized me when I started being critical of Israel and Jewish power. You can kind of talk about certain things and be controversial to a degree, but once you start talking about Jews, especially before October 7th, I want to be very clear about this. If you talked about this shit before October 7th, cooked. It was the fastest way to lose your platform. And actually one of the heads of YouTube, her name is Susan Wojcicki, Polish Jew Zionist. She literally talked about this. One of the things she took pride in was banning people for pushing anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. So this is why most people didn't know what Zionism is or the dark history of Israel, because YouTube was systematically banning people that talked about this shit. Now with October 7th, they can't stop everybody, right? Because everyone's noticing. But before this, they were able to kind of stamp you out quickly. And these organizations, Media Matters, ADL, SPLC, Right Wing Watch, etc., they were banning everybody, dude. So censorship is literally run by the Jews. It's run. They're the ones that write a lot of the community guidelines.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, absolutely. After October 7th, they had very broad guidelines on Facebook and Meta. And they had something called a nebulous term. A nebulous term means it's so vague in general that it could mean anything. It's open to interpretation. But even with that, it wasn't enough.
That's how all the community guidelines are written.
That's how all of them are.
Yeah.
Facebook and Meta, for them, it wasn't enough. After October 7th, if they wanted to get me banned, if they wanted to get Quds News Network, which is a famous, massive Palestinian-run platform, all they do is talk about what's happening to Palestinians. They never, ever even use the word Jews. They always say Zionists. They always talk about Israel.
Yeah.
So they were like following the rules to a T, and they got completely banned and deleted. And that happened because they had to augment and change the rules to specifically target people that their rooms previously didn't make room for and get rid of.
Of course. And again, I want to be clear about this. Like, does this mean that all Jews are bad? No. Some of the best people that are putting out the best information are Jews, right? You look at guys like Norman Finkelstein, Max Blumenthal, Glenn Greenwald, Dave Smith. A lot of these guys are doing fantastic work.
And they call them anti-Semitic.
They call them
anti-Semitic.
Jews, so, like, that should tell you, like, the bullshit, right? So, it's not, because people say, it's just all the Jews. I refuse to do that because that's lazy and, it's a lot of them on that bullshit. But that doesn't mean that all of them are bad. So I want to be clear on that. But some of the people that have done the best work are Jews, right? Like Atrocity Inc., for example, great documentary that talks about the lies of October 7th, right? Max Blumenthal put that out, right? Like, people wouldn't have that information
we
had
did
he
too.
not put it out. Yeah, and you guys put it. Well, I saw it on your channel.
I did the editing,
Yeah. Oh, you edited that?
Yeah.
Oh, that was good work, dude. Good work.
You're now setting up a table on the streets of Miami, and you're just talking shit to all kinds of people.
Yeah.
But you had a couple Zionist Jews, and Miami is a hub. Outside of New York, I
right
think
next to a synagogue too.
Right next to a synagogue. So what was that like?
Oh, dude, it's like 15 of them showed up.
You've had your platform, right? One time, can you say something positive?
About what?
Zionism, Jews, Muslims, us as a people. Can you say something positive?
Israel's a parasitic state, and we need to stop supporting it.
All right, brother.
That's what we need to do. They're killing innocent people, and they're dragging our name in the mud alongside it. No more aid to Israel.
Why don't you go
no more aid.
If you love Hamas
no more
so much,
aid.
why don't you go?
And it's funny because it's like they're trying to debate me on like October 7th or whatever, and I was like, yeah, well, the Hannibal Directive was activated on that day. What? Oh, you don't even know what the Hannibal Directive is? Why the fuck are you talking to me?
Yeah.
Like, we can't even have a discussion. You don't even know what it is. Like, oh, what are you talking about? I was like, dude, your fucking defense minister, Yoav Gallant, literally like Pete Hegseth, was like saying, it was activated on the day and we should have activated it more. Oh, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, bro, then you shouldn't even be here. But like, again, they get triggered, they get mad, they don't like hearing the truth. They don't even know the facts half the time because they've been able to, kind of benefit from censorship where people don't even learn this shit. But once you figure it out, the state of Israel And our support for it, especially in the United States, is an indefensible fucking position. Indefensible. There's no benefit for us strategically. Oh, they give us intel. Intel, like on people that wouldn't have hated us had you motherfuckers not been there in the first place. Like you've cultivated all the enemies for us, right? The Middle East didn't give a fuck about America until Israel came into play. And we started giving them billions upon billions of dollars to drop bombs on them. So don't give me this, oh, they give us intel and they're a democracy. They're not a democracy. There's what, millions of Palestinians that can't vote. It's literally the definition of an apartheid state. Can't be an apartheid and a democracy at the same time. It's bullshit. It's all bullshit, right? But if you say this, oh, cancel him. He's an anti-Semite.
Let me ask you this. Would you ever go visit the Middle East? Like, would you ever go try and visit Palestine or go to Iran, Yemen?
Well, I've been to the UAE. Doesn't count really. Not really the Middle East.
It's more like a British colony.
Yeah, it's a Miami with less blacks, which is good, and Hispanics. But I've been to Sudan. I've been to Egypt. My family's from Sudan.
Oh, you're from Sudan originally?
Yeah.
I thought you were from Yemen originally.
No.
So you're from Sudan. Which part of Sudan?
Khartoum.
Khartoum.
Yeah.
So do you still have family there?
Yeah. Actually, my uncle used to work for the Omar Bashir administration, and they were looking to kill him, dude. So literally, we got him out of there. But yeah, I've been to Egypt before. I was there in 2005. But yeah, I mean, I speak Arabic conversation. I'm not fluent anymore, man. It kind of sucks. I want to get good at it again. But because it's a good language to know. I think anyone that doesn't understand that the reason why we have all the problems in the Middle East is because pretty much Israel runs our foreign policy, and they've either bribed or destroyed all their enemies. They're just not being genuine.
They meddled in Sudan as well. I mean, they're the ones who pushed very hard to get South Sudan to break away from Sudan.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. They caused this, they were a huge reason for the civil wars in Sudan. You know what I mean? They bribed Egypt. They bribed Jordan, right? Lebanon, destabilizing Lebanon. Obviously, the Iraq war. I put the blame on Netanyahu pretty much because that war didn't benefit us at all. Everything. So it's like when you see Iran fighting them back, like they just don't want to be destroyed like all their counterparts, Libya, etc. Like the entire Middle East has been either bribed or destroyed because of foreign policy run by Israel. And the crazy part is, it's all telegraphed. Clean break memo. It's all there.
Yeah.
It's literally all there. So it's amazing to me how but this stuff has been censored for so fucking long.
Yeah.
Right? 9/11, why the fuck were Israeli intelligence assets dancing and celebrating it on our worst day? And they had foreknowledge. This is all in FBI reports, and the Zionists still try to sit there and say the dancing Israelis is a lie. Motherfucker, we got the 203s, the FBI reports. What are you talking about? It literally says there. They interviewed him. Did you have foreknowledge? It's redacted, but you can see in the footnote they knew, right? And 2 of them came back as a hit on as Israeli intel. So it's dude, the lies, you can't lie no more. With the internet. Thanks for the internet and alternative media, Rumble, X, free speech. Because if you talked about the dancing Israelis on YouTube before, bro, even if you put it today, you get banned easily.
So let me ask you this, because Nick Fuentes was just on Candace Owens' podcast.
Yeah, I didn't see the full interview yet.
I haven't seen it full yet either, but I've seen a couple of clips, and Candace was asking him about race.
Okay.
So we know that they are white Christian nationalists, Fuentes and the Groypers.
Yep.
They want to take America back. They want to limit immigration. They want to kind of have a return to their Christian roots, et cetera, et cetera. So when I visited the America First conference last year, I went there with no assumptions. Obviously, I'm a brown guy. They treated me with respect. Nobody was disrespectful to me. Nobody said anything racist to me. But then they had Jared Taylor go up there. I don't know if you know who Jared Taylor is.
Yeah, I know who he is, yeah.
So Jared Taylor gets up there and he says, we need to stop playing patty cake with Muslims. Any Christian who plays patty cake with Muslims should be executed. He was lamenting the collapse of South African apartheid. And he was calling for a new crusade against Muslims in the Middle East. And it sounded obviously, to me, racist, but also this is neocon, warhawk type language. So, and Fuentes told Candace Owens himself that he felt okay, naturally we have, European people have higher IQs. Okay, whatever, I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah.
But then he says, if we weren't there to uplift their civilization, these people would just be savages living in squalor. So, is that?
I think he was referring to Africa.
Well, she mentioned Middle East specifically, and then
she did. Okay.
Yeah, and then he said, yeah. So,
I know they talked about because she mentioned Egypt, and he said they don't count. I saw that part.
I didn't see that part,
Yeah,
but she asked him about the Middle East.
Yeah, because they were talking about
Yeah.
Africa. Because I saw this clip in particular, because someone sent it to me, and she said, because he was saying like, hey, like Africa, blah blah blah, and she was like, well, what about the
Middle
Egypt?
East.
Like in Egypt, they were innovating and everything else like that. I was like, well, they don't count because they're Middle Eastern, they're a different ethnicity. So he did make that distinction for Middle Easterns, because I don't consider them black either. So, but he was referring more to like sub-Saharan, like black people from Africa have lower IQs. So your question is like race realism, I guess?
I guess, how do you make sense of it, or how do you reconcile it? Because I have no problem with any people being nationalistic and patriotic.
Yeah.
There's no problem with saying, hey, we are culturally distinct. Arabs do the same thing. Arabs are some of the most racist people on the planet.
Oh, yeah.
Nobody can deny that.
Especially the Saudis.
Oh, the Saudis.
They're the worst.
Even the Palestinians can be really racist to all of us. It's just natural to humanity. People are tribal, and they feel that they are special and distinct, and they are, perhaps superior to others. But when you hear that kind of rhetoric where they say, like, if it wasn't for us, they'd be savages, that's more than just saying, hey, we're distinct and we're special and we're intelligent.
That's just not actually true, because we know that Arabs have innovated quite a bit, right, when it comes to arithmetic and innovation. So that's just not true. Now, my thing with Jared Taylor, with him, is guy's smart, obviously, Yale graduate, etc. But I do question the fact that he never talks about Jews or Jewish power. That's a big red flag to me. So I don't know what the deal is there, because he refuses to criticize Zionism, Jews, Israel, never does it. So that's strange, because Jews don't consider themselves white. Now, they'll cosplay as white when it benefits them, but if you get them in a corner and ask them, are you white? They'll be like, no, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
So they are a distinct race, and they observed it that way. Now they'll shapeshift because they can be, because there's Jewish Arabs, right? Like you can't tell. That's why Mossad is so good. So yeah, we'll see what happens. But when it comes to Jared Taylor, I think he's just wrong about that part.
Yeah.
And then I question anyone that won't talk about, anyone that like doesn't criticize Jews or Israel. I'm just like, bro, I don't know.
Yeah. So obviously he's not like in command of America First or the Goiper movement, but he is a thought leader, and so I just thought I'd get your thoughts on that. Yeah. Because I don't dive too deep into race realism.
Yeah, I think a lot of his points that he makes on race realism, there's definitely credence to it with like the IQs and stuff like that. There is data to back that up. But I am a little, I do question that he goes super hard on the Muslims, but he will not criticize Jews or Israel. That's strange to me, because if you're going to go ahead and criticize Muslims and say, oh, well, they're not compatible with X, Y, Z, well, neither are Jews, dude. I would say that they're far more subversive, right? And this has been a thing for a very long time. They're a diaspora people for a reason. They don't have a homeland for a reason, right? And they have been kicked out of 109 countries for no reason thousands of times. Like, there's literally documented history about why they keep getting kicked out. It's for the same reasons. Usury, blood libel, despite the fact people want to believe it or not, they'll say, oh, that's not true. It's been widely documented throughout Christian texts. Coin clipping, pushing pornography, all kinds of shit.
Coin clipping.
Oh, yeah. Coin. You've heard of that, right?
The ridges.
Yeah, that's why they have the ridges on the coins. Like, this is not like anti-Semitic conspiracy theories. It's like, it's just true. Like, this is what would get them in trouble.
Yeah, I think they got kicked out of England, right?
Not assimilating. Not assimilating to the people, having their own little communities, like all these different things. And it's interesting because the Ottoman Empire was really good to the Jewish people. Yeah. Like Muslims are some of the only people that allowed them to practice in peace and protected them. Obviously, they had to pay. It's called the jizya, I think, right? Yeah. Paying the tax, but they've always been able to practice in peace in Muslim countries. So it's crazy how, and they even acknowledge this, that like they got saved, the Ottoman Empire saved them when they got kicked out of Spain in, I think, 1492. Yeah,
they welcomed them in. Actually, Salahuddin al-Ayyubi, who in the West they know him as Saladin or Saladin. Yeah. He's the one who liberated Jerusalem from the Crusaders, right?
Oh, yeah.
One of his closest advisors and his doctors was Maimonides, this rabbi that everyone is talking about, because he didn't write the Talmud, but he wrote like a jurisprudence, like his opinion on the Talmud. Yeah. And he's the one with the quote about the young girls.
No way.
And what they can do to them, yeah. I don't think Salahuddin knew about that, though. He probably wasn't paying attention to what he was writing, but apparently he was like his benefactor. Salahuddin like funded his work.
Okay.
Many others, but including Jews. So just as an example that Muslims, including Muslims in power, who took back Jerusalem, they welcomed Jews and they funded them and they supported their work. And part of their work happens to be this very controversial quote that people keep citing, like Dan Bilzerian talks about it all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, they never want to admit that, though, that, like, you know, they can practice in peace. Obviously, they pay a tax, but they don't have to fight in the wars.
Yeah, they describe Muslims as, like, being the worst to them.
Yeah, that's a lie.
Muslims were very welcoming to them. That's why there were Jewish communities in the Muslim world up until 1948 when the Mossad started carrying out these terrorist attacks to bring them because they needed the demographics.
Yes. There were Jews everywhere in Morocco, in Lebanon, and Yemen. Yeah, they were all over the place.
Yeah.
There, you know, in Iran. Yeah, it wasn't until the creation of Israel that all these problems came. Right?
Actually, they're still in Iran. So Max Blumenthal, when we were in Iran at the same time, but after the conference, Max Blumenthal went to go visit Isfahan, Shiraz, and Tehran, and he met the Jewish community there, and they're actually the largest Jewish community in the region outside of Israel.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and they have been there for probably over 1,000 years. They have massive cemeteries. They practice openly, freely. Iran is very, like, religiously diverse. There are Armenian Christians there. There are all kinds of people there. And they still allow
these countries are. The media just doesn't like to say that for obvious reasons. But yeah, a lot of these Muslim countries have a very strong Christian and Jewish population because they can actually practice a peace. It's haram to fucking kill them or do anything.
Yeah.
People of the book, you know what I mean?
People of the book, yeah, exactly. So they consider them to be believers and they have to be protected. And obviously they pay a specific tax, but that tax is not that high anyway. You pay more taxes.
And they don't got to fight in wars.
5 or 6 times.
They don't got to fight in wars. There's a benefit. It's like you pay the tax, but you don't got to defend yourself or defend the country, any of that shit.
Yeah.
So it comes with a benefit versus, like, you know, let's be honest, like Christians used to kill the Jews. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
You know, you guys killed Jesus. We're killing your asses. You know.
Yeah.
So they were less, which I could understand because, like, obviously Jews, like, hate Christians, so there's, like, really bad animosity there. But, like, when it comes to, like, Muslims and Jews, really until Israel came, there was not that much problems.
So we've been talking for like 40 minutes now. I want you to enjoy your food.
All right, bro. We could yap, man. It's all good. So whatever.
My friend here. I'll just tell the story. He was close friends with the Palestinian American who's from Florida who was beaten to death in Palestine yesterday.
Okay.
So obviously Palestinians are killed every day. Maybe you've been busy with the conference, you didn't hear about this.
I saw it on Twitter.
Yeah, so he was 20 years old. Was he from Tampa? I know he lived here, but I don't know if he was born here.
He was actually born where I grew up before I came to Tampa,
Port Charlotte, okay. So 2 hours like south or east of here. Yeah.
Where'd he get beaten?
In Palestine. So he went back to visit his family in his village.
Okay.
What's the name of the village? Sinjil. Sinjil. And, okay, in Palestine, everyone is from Ramallah, right? Or around Ramallah. So the Mizra, right? That's what they call this area. And then there are specific villages. So his specific village is Sinjil. And a lot of Palestinians, especially in the summertime, they go back for like 2-3 months. They have homes there. And even though they have to deal with the Jewish settlers, and they always get harassed by them, they still go back. Recently, it's been really bad. The Jewish settlers are just enjoying all the distraction from the coverage in Gaza, and they're getting away with a lot of bullshit.
Yeah.
They go and they've taken like 1,000 sheep or something like that. They steal the sheep of the farmers. They either kill them or they keep them. They're armed. And they're protected by the IDF. And so they kidnapped him and they beat him to death. And he's from here in the United States. And Trump is not going to say anything. Nobody's going to say anything. He's an American. He's born here.
If it was the other way around,
it would
be a fucking.
If he was a Jew, there'd be a parade down the street, and everyone would be talking about it. It'd be on CNN for 3 days in a row.
Yep, it'd be on Fox News. They killed a Jew in Palestine. I told you, look, we got a fucking nuke him.
Not only if a Jewish civilian were killed in Israel, it would be all over the news. If a Jewish IDF soldier from Tampa were killed, they'd be talking about it endlessly, and they'd present it as if he's just some innocent guy who got killed, when really he's a combatant, he's a soldier. Hey, if you enjoyed this conversation, go ahead and take a look at the first time I spoke with Myron Gaines. We spoke virtually during a live stream on YouTube, and we specifically talked about the toxic relationship between America and the State of Israel. If you don't know Myron, you'll know all about him from that first conversation, but long story short, he is a very influential part of the discourse and the discussion and the debate taking place on the right. So MAGA, conservative, Trump supporters, on the right wing. A lot of people are discussing and debating whether or not America should continue its support of the state of Israel. So Myron has been doing an excellent job on the right, not only criticizing the state of Israel, but also raising awareness about the genocide in Gaza. I think a lot of people on the left or in the middle just simply are not exposed enough to the kind of discourse on the right. And I think it's important that we understand what's taking place on the right. I urge you to take a look at our first conversation. We go into much more detail, and Myron just does an excellent job, not only explaining his perspective, but taking you on a deep dive through the right wing and helping you understand this very important rift that is taking place on the right. And we've seen that through Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, obviously controversial figures like Nick Fuentes. There is a very fierce debate, and it's all along the right wing spectrum, from the far right closer to the middle. So take a look. You can watch that video here. Thank you. See you guys in the next one.
Trust nothing. No